I have been in a position to meet young people with consistency for all sorts of kind of jobs, you know, for as a studio executive, as a producer, running a philanthropic organization, various different things. And one of the things I started to notice is that women would come into my office and sit down and instantly limit themselves. And usually the limitation was around this concept, which is, I love creative work. That's what I understand. That's what I'm good at, but leave the business to somebody else. And instantly I would be thinking, as a person working in show business, which I think is made up of two words because it's both show and business, I would be thinking, well, wow, you just told me that one of the two pieces of this equation is something that you don't do. And then as I would see myself self-selecting, you know, I'd be selecting against candidates who were saying that to me. And then I thought, well, this isn't helping promote women and get them into jobs. What can I do to be more constructive? And as an exploration, I started to ask them this question, which was, let me ask you, you just told me that you want to be in the movie business or you want to be in the television business because you're really creative and you love all things creative and you love storytelling. Now in college, these are young people, you know, in college, did you study economics 101? Did you take math 101? Do you basically understand how money moves from buyers and sellers? Yes, of course, of course. And I said, okay, that's number one. Number two, did your friends who are male study those things? Yes, they did. Did they study more than you did in those areas? No, they didn't. So I said, well, here's a big difference. The guys come in and they say, hey, I'm great at everything. I can do the business, I can do the creative. And actually, they don't know anything more than you know. And none of you can do anything yet because you're just starting. But the truth is you have the aptitude to do all of it. So why self-select? So what I've been trying to help women with is to understand that we don't have to take these social norms and put ourselves into a storytelling box by reiterating what we've been taught to think, which isn't even true and isn't more true or less true for men. We're all in this, they're all in the same boat at the same time, with the same person that's coming into a movie business job, male or female, has the same background. None of them were like giant business, you know, whatever scholars. They worked in the creative areas and lit, and you know, they educated themselves on all the same.
Well, I mean, I think you have to, it's hard for me to, I would talk about like hiring for a show, but the corollary would be, of course, any company. Like, one thing I think people sometimes don't do is they're afraid to gush, or they're afraid they're gonna seem young, and I don't know what if they, not that you have to gush about me, I don't care. But if I'm running a show and you saw the pilot, then tell me what you loved about it and what you loved about other things I've been involved in, because then that'll help me understand if we're thinking the same way about things. And I don't mean make up and flatter people, but if you're pursuing a job that's your dream job, or at your dream company, or they're making the kind of films you love or the kind of products you love, or then don't be afraid to say why you are so excited to be there, and you know, what you would bring to the table. And then the other thing is, if I'm doing the show about family, like Modern Family, then in that interview, whether I ask or not, you have to kind of come prepared with your stories of like where you intersect with this show, and be ready to tell some funny anecdotes, or just interesting anecdotes, or specific anecdotes to you, because at least in a creative job, what you bring are your stories. And so that's kind of what I'm looking for. So it's really like, do you have a wealth of stories? Do you seem to have a good eye for stories, for me, in that scenario? And also, would you be excited to be there and happy to be there?
Yeah, I mean, I would add that I'm seeking people who are glass half full people all the time. I really am looking for people who can see the upside, the bright side, and the possibility and everything, because that's ambition to me.